Now to the crisis in the Middle East, a crisis that much of the world is hoping does not explode into a wider war. But today, Israel's military chief says his country will respond to the barrage of drone and missile attacks from Iran on Saturday. But he offered no specifics. 99% of the weapons were stopped by Israel, the United States, and other allies. Israel today, though, releasing video of minor damage caused to an airbase from the attack and one critical injury, a 7-year-old. Meanwhile, the U.S. says it will not participate in any offensive action against Iraq and make it Iran. So what will Israel do, and what might they do it when? That's the key, when. Or is there a chance that maybe this moment can lead to some sort of ceasefire? That's all the conundrums involved here. Eyewitness News reporter Josh Einiger, live in Jerusalem with the very latest. Josh.
Well, you covered many of the questions there, Bill, and there are many, many others. You know, Benjamin Netanyahu has a very difficult decision to make. He has to thread a needle of responding, but not responding too forcefully. And all of this at a time when domestically he is in very big trouble with the people he leads. It happens like clockwork every Saturday. When the sun goes down, the people rise up. Tens of thousands take over the center of Tel Aviv. Sometimes they're sprayed with water or tear gas, but all to send a message: down with Bibi.
More and more Israelis are beginning to understand that all of our rivers of calamity flow from the same source. And that source is this regime.
The NYU-educated daughter of former Prime Minister Shimon Peres, Mika Almog, is one of the leaders of a growing protest movement. Israelis fed up with the direction of the war against Hamas, the hostages still not home, the suffering in Gaza, and now this weekend's unheard-of attack by Iran, provoked by an Israeli airstrike 2 weeks earlier.
The first thing we have to do is bring down this government and go to elections and elect a leadership that is capable of doing that.
Polling is brutal for Netanyahu. This one from Israel's public broadcaster says 71% of Israeli voters want him out of office. He should resign either immediately or after the Hamas war. And all that was before Saturday night.
The president believes that what happened Saturday night was an extraordinary military success, and that it proved Israel is not alone, and it proved that Israel has a military superiority it can be proud of.
The White House spent the day congratulating Netanyahu, trying to convince him to take the win after Israel's missile defenses helped protect the country from 99% of the hardware that streaked through the sky. President Biden fears a lethal escalation that could drag the U.S. into a wider war.
We don't want a war with Iran. We don't seek to widen and broaden this conflict. We don't want to see things escalate. As a matter of fact, what we want to do is see things de-escalate.
Israel's military chief did say tonight that Iran will face consequences for its actions Saturday night. But what those consequences will be, he did not say. We're live in Jerusalem tonight. Josh Einiger, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
It remains the big question, Josh. Thank you.